Hello, everybody. This is The Home in the World by Rabindranath Tagore. Chapter 12, Nikhil's Story, Part 15. Today we are going to Calcutta. Our joys and sorrows lie heavy on us as if we merely go on accumulating them. Keeping them and accumulating them alike are false. As master of the house, I'm in an artificial position. In reality, I'm a wayfarer on the path of life. That's why the true master of the house gets hurt at every step, and at last there comes the supreme hurt of death. My union with you, my love, was only of the wayside. It was well enough so long as we followed the same road. It would only hamper us if we tried to preserve it further. We're now leaving its bonds behind. We're started on our journey beyond, and it will be enough if we can throw each other a glance or feel the touch of each other's hands in passing. And after that, there's the larger world path, the endless current of universal life. How little can you deprive me of, my love, after all? Whenever I set my ear to it, I can hear the flute which is playing, this fountain of melody gushing forth from flute stops of separation. The immortal draught of the goddess is never exhausted. She sometimes breaks the bowl from which we drink it, only to smile at seeing us so disconsolate over the trifling loss. I'll not stop to pick up my broken bowl. I'll march forward, obey it with unsatisfied heart. The Bhararani came and asked me, "What's the meaning, brother, of all these books being packed up and sent off in box loads?" "It only means," I replied, "that I've not yet been able to get over my fondness for them. I only wish you would keep your fondness for some things as well. Do you mean you're never coming back home?" "I'll be coming and going, but I'll not immure myself here any more." "Oh, indeed? Then just come along to my room and see how many things I've been unable to shake off my fondness for." With this, she took me by the hand and marched me off. In my sister-in-law's rooms, I found numberless boxes and bundles ready packed. She opened one of the boxes and said, "See, brother, look at all my pond-making things. In this bottle I have catechu powders scented and pollen of screw-pine blossoms. These little tin boxes are all different kinds of spices. I've not forgotten my playing cards and draught board either. If you two are over busy, I shall manage to make other friends there who will give me a game. Do you remember this comb? It was one of the Swadeshi combs you brought for me." "What is all this for, Sister Hirani? Why have you been packing up all these things?" "Do you think I'm not going with you?" "What an extraordinary idea. Oh, don't be afraid. I'm not going there to flirt with you or to quarrel with the Chotarani. One must die sooner or later, and it's just as well to be on the bank of the holy Ganges before it's too late. It's too horrible to think of being cremated in your wretched burning ground here, under that stumpy banyan tree. That's why I've been refusing to die, and plagued you all this time." At last I could hear the true voice of home. The Bhararani came into our house as its bride when I was only 6 years old. We've played together through the drowsy afternoons in a corner of the roof terrace. I've thrown down in her green amras from the treetop to be made into deliciously indigestible chutneys by slicing them up with mustard, salt, and fragrant herbs. It was my part to gather for her all the forbidden things from the storeroom to be used in the marriage celebration of her doll. For in the penal code of my grandmother, I alone was exempt from punishment. And I used to be appointed her messenger to my brother, whenever she wanted to coax something special out of him, because he could not resist my importunity. I also remember how, when I suffered under the rigorous regime of the doctors of those days, who would not allow anything except warm-watered and sugared cardamom seeds during feverish attacks, my sister-in-law could not bear my privation and used to bring me delicacies on the sly. What a scolding she got one day when she was caught. And then as we grew up, our mutual joys and sorrows took on deeper tones of intimacy. How we quarreled. Sometimes conflicts of worldly interest roused suspicions and jealousies, making breaches in our love. And when the Chotarani came in between us, these breaches seemed as if they would never be mended. But it always turned out that the healing force at bottom proved more powerful than the wounds on the surface. So was a true relationship grown up between us from our childhood up till now, and its branching foliage has spread and broadened over every room and veranda and terrace of the great house. When I saw the Bhararani make ready with all her belongings, To depart from this house of ours, all the ties that bound us to their wide-spreading ends, felt the shock. The reason was clear to me, why she made up her mind to drift away towards the unknown, cutting asunder all her lifelong bonds of daily habit and of the house itself, which she had never left for a day since she entered it at the age of 9, and yet it was the real reason which she would not allow to escape her lips, preferring rather to put forward another paltry excuse. She had only this one relationship left in the world, and the poor unfortunate widowed and childless woman had cherished it with all the tenderness hoarded in her heart. How deeply she had felt our proposed separation I never realized so keenly as when I stood amongst her scattered boxes and bundles. I could see at once that the little differences she used to have with Bimala about money matters did not proceed from any sordid worldliness, but because she felt that her claims in regard to this one relationship of her life had been overridden and its ties weakened for her by the coming in between of this other woman from goodness knows where. She'd been hurt at every turn, and yet not had the right to complain. And Bimala? She also had felt that the Signor Rani's claim over me was not based merely on our social connection, but went much deeper, and she was jealous of those ties between us, reaching back to our childhood. Today, my heart knocked heavily against the doors of my breast. I sank down upon one of the boxes as I said, "How I should love, Sister Rani, to go back to the days when we first met in the old house of ours." "No, dear brother," she replied with a sigh. "I would not live my life again, not as a woman. Let what I have had to bear end with this one birth. I couldn't bear it over again." I said to her, "The freedom to which we pass through sorrow is greater than the sorrow. That may be so for you men. Freedom is for you, but we women would keep others bound. We would rather be put into bondage ourselves. No, no, brother, you'll never get free from our toils. If you needs must spread your wings, you will have to take us with you. We refuse to be left behind. That's why I've gathered together all the weight of this luggage. It would never do to allow men to run too light." "I can feel the weight of your words," I said, laughing, "and if we men do not complain of your burdens, it's because women pay us so handsomely for what they make us carry. You carry it," she said, "because it made up of many small things. Whichever one you think of rejecting pleads that it's so light, and so much lightness we weigh you down. When do we start?" "The train leaves at 11:30 tonight. There will be lots of time. Look here, do be good for once and listen to just one word of mine. Take a good nap this afternoon. You know you never get any sleep on the train. You look so pulled down, you might go to pieces at any moment. Come along, go through your bath first." As we went towards my room, Crema, the maid, came up with an ultra-modest pull at her veil, told us in deprecatingly low tones that the police inspector had arrived with a prisoner who wanted to see the Maharaj. "Is the Maharaj a thief or a robber?" The Rani flared up. "That he should be set upon so by the police? Go and tell the inspector that the Maharaj is at his bath." "Let me just go and see what's the matter," I pleaded. "It may be urgent." "No, no," my sister-in-law insisted. "Our Chota Rani was making a heap of cakes last night. I'll send some to the inspector to keep him quiet till you're ready." With this, she pushed me into my room and shut the door on me. I had not the power to resist such tyranny, so rare is it in the world. Let the inspector while away the time eating cakes. What if business is a bit neglected? The police had been in great form these last few days, arresting now this one, now that one. Each day some innocent person or other would be brought along to enliven the assembly in the office room. One more such unfortunate, I suppose, must have been brought in that day. But why should the inspector alone be regaled with cakes? That would not do at all. I thumped vigorously on the door. "If you're going to be mad, be quick and pour some water over your head. That will keep you cool," said my sister-in-law from the passage. "Send down cakes for 2, I shouted. "The person who has been brought in as a thief probably deserves them better. Tell the man to give him a good big helping." I hurried through my bath. When I came out, I found Bimmel resting on the floor outside. Could this be my Bimmel of old, my proud, sensitive Bimmel? What favor could she be wanting to beg, seated like that at my door? As I stopped short, she stood up and said gently with downcast eyes, "I want to have a word with you." "Well, come inside then," I said. "But are you going out on any particular business?" I was, but let that be. I want to hear. No, finish your business first. We'll have our talk after you've had your dinner. I went off to the sitting room to find the police inspector's plate quite empty. The person he had brought with him, however, was still busy eating. "Hello," I ejaculated in surprise. "You? Amelia?" "It is I, sir," said Amelia with his mouth full of cake. "I've had quite a feast, and if you don't mind, I'll take the rest with me." With this, he proceeded to tie up the remaining cakes in his handkerchief. "What does this mean?" I asked, staring at the inspector. The man laughed. "We're no nearer, sir," he said, "to solving the problem of the thief. Meanwhile, the mystery of the theft deepens." He then produced something tied up in a rag, which, when untied, disclosed a bundle of currency notes. "This, Maharaj," said the inspector, "is your 6,000 rupees." "Where was it found?" "In Amolya Babu's hands. He went last evening to the manager of your Chukna sub-office to tell him that the money had been found. The manager seemed to be in a great state of trepidation at the recovery that he had been at the robbery. He was afraid that he would be suspected of having made away with the notes and of now making up the cock and bull story for fear of being found out. He asked Amelia to wait, on the pretext of getting some refreshment, and came straight over to the police office. I rode off at once, kept Amelia with me, and have been busy with him the whole morning. He refuses to tell us where he got the money from. I warned him he would be kept under restraint till he did so. In that case, he informed me he would have to lie. Very well, I said, he might do so if he pleased. Then he stated that he found the money under a bush. I pointed out to him that it was not quite so easy to lie as all that. Under what bush? Where was the place? Why was he there? All this would have to be stated as well. Don't you worry, he said. There's plenty of time to invent all that. But, Inspector, I said, why are you badgering a respectable young gentleman like Amolya Babu? I've no desire to harass him, said the inspector. He's not only a gentleman, but the son of Nibaran Babu, my schoolfellow. Let me tell you, Maharaj, exactly what must have happened. Amolya knows the thief, but wants to shield him by drawing suspicion on himself. That's just the sort of bravado he loves to indulge in. The inspector turned to Amolya. Look here, young man, he continued. I was also 18 once upon a time, and a student in the Ripon College. I nearly got into jail trying to rescue a hack driver from a police constable. It was a near shave. Then he turned again to me and said, Maharaj, the real thief will now probably escape, but I think I can tell you who is at the bottom of it all. Who is it then? I asked. That manager, in collusion with the guard Kasim. When the inspector, having argued out his theory to his own satisfaction, at last departed, I said to Amolya, if you'll tell me who took the money, I promise you no one shall be hurt. I did, said he. But how can that be? What about the gang of armed men? It was I, by myself, alone. When Amolya told me he was indeed extraordinary. The manager had just finished his supper and was on the veranda rinsing out his mouth. The place was somewhat dark. Amolya had a revolver in each pocket, one loaded with blank cartridges, the other with ball. He had a mask over his face. He flashed a bull's-eye lantern in the manager's face and fired a blank shot. The man swooned away. Some of the guards who were off duty came running up, but when Amolya fired another blank shot at them, they lost no time in taking cover. Then Kasim, who was on duty, came up whirling a quarterstaff. This time Amolya aimed a bullet at his leg, and finding himself hit, Kasim collapsed on the floor. Amolya then made the trembling manager, who had come to his senses, open the safe and deliver up 6,000 rupees. Finally, he took one of the estate horses and galloped off a few miles, let the animal loose, and quietly walked up here to our place. What made you do all this, Amolya? I asked. Oh, there was a grave reason, Maharaj, he replied. But why, then, did you try to return the money? Let her come, at whose command I did so. In her presence I shall make clean breast of it. And who may she be? Oh, my sister, the Chodorani. I sent for Bimala. She came hesitatingly, barefoot, with a white shawl over her head. I'd never seen my Bimal like this before. She seemed to have wrapped herself in the morning light. Amolya prostrated himself in salutation and took the dust of her feet. Then as he rose, he said, Your command has been executed, sister. The money is returned. You've saved me, my little brother, said Bimal. With your image in my mind, I have not uttered a single lie, Amolya continued. My watchword, Bande Mataram, has been cast away at your feet for good. I've also received my reward, your prasad, as soon as I came to the palace. Bimmel looked at him blankly, unable to follow his last words. Amelia brought out his handkerchief, and untying it, showed her the cakes put away inside. "I didn't eat them all," he said. "I've kept these to eat after you've helped me with your own hands." I could see I wasn't wanted here. I went out of the room. I could only preach and preach, so I mused and get my effigy burnt for my pains. I'd not yet been able to drink back a single soul from the path of death. Yet they who have the power can do so by a mere sign. My words have not that ineffable meaning. I'm not a flame, only a black coal which has gone out. I can light no lamp. That's what the story of my life shows. My row of lamps has remained unlit.